But I do have a guest in the building, and I'm going to bring on the bishop, the man, the myth, the legend, the guy who we go to for prayer, the guy who is so in tune with God. God literally sits on his shoulder as he talks and speaks and does shows. The man that speaks with indefinite conviction, the man that gives you real, raw, uncut truth, and like me, never wavers. My man, TARRERDOME is in the building. What's going on, good brother?
Man, if you ain't put me on like Steve Harvey at the Apollo after I done rubbed the rock.
That's how you do it, man.
Everybody who's out there, God bless y'all. God keep y'all. I've been dealing with a little bit, Dion, man. I came home and my water heater was leaking water behind that wall. And, I'm like, not this weekend. My daughter's closing on the house. My boy's getting ordained an apostle. Shout out to Robert Walker, Apostle Robert Walker, my man. He's still a fan, but we still praying for him. Amen.
Yeah, Steelers fans gonna need a whole lot of prayer. A lot of people are actually giving us a loss in that first week, and I keep looking at people wondering what from the Steelers is going to give us a loss, because the offense ain't scary. The offensive line is actually fairly, very garbage. The defense is so. I mean, Steelers have won. That's one thing the Steelers will maintain. It is defense. They're gonna always have defense. They gonna keep that. Yeah.
It's a lot of jokes in that one. They gonna keep a D.
Pause. We got to do that. Mo's gonna watch this. Mo's gonna watch this back and get us all. Man. I love. And shout out to Mo's those, man. I love Mo's because when him, Breezy, and Peachy are together, along with Fair to God. Shout out Fair to God, man. My fellow light skinned brother.
Yeah, y'all splash brothers.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Bro, he kills me because Breezy knows when he done screwed up. Like, Bowles will literally tear him down, and I die laughing every
He's like the FCC, man.
He is.
He just listen for it. He's listening for it. He's listening for it. Balls. Boom.
That is. He about as bad as Cameron and Mace over there on It Is What It Is.
Oh, man.
If you have not seen It Is What It Is, people, you are missing out on great content. I love it. The reason is because that's real barbershop talk on the internet. That's literal this is how we talk. We don't sugarcoat nothing. We may curse here and there. There's gonna be some punches thrown. People might get a little loud. You might feel like the energy in the room is going crazy, but it's just us talking about these teams and what we do.
Yeah, Cameron been my dude since when he made Oh Boy, that was fly. And his work in Paid in Full. If y'all haven't seen Paid in Full, Cameron deserved an Oscar nomination. At least Cameron was laying it down. And
I'm gonna tell you right now.
Talk to
there's times where you play a bad guy.
Yeah.
Some people are very good at acting and playing bad guys. Now, there are some people who it's just who they used to be. So tapping into that means nothing. Cameron obviously used to be that guy in the streets.
Yeah.
So when he transitioned that to the camera, it meant nothing. You know why? It was effortless. Like, you really, I'm sorry. I looked at Cam and I'm like, from the moment he started talking in the way, I don't trust this cat.
You knew something was gonna be up.
He'll double cross you in a minute for some money, and I know he will. And what happened at the end of the movie? He double crossed.
Yeah, you got 20 bricks in there. You got 10 bricks in there.
Yeah, you got 10. What? For real? Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah. Let me get that about you. This is all East Coast Terry. Steve says I can blame Kyle for the water heater, but it's because they blaming people to zero for me.
Kyle done messed up my water heater.
Look, Kyle coming in. Hey, look, Kyle. All right, look, I'm not even worried about that water heater. I need you to sit down and tell me what the hell we doing with this squad right now. You know what I'm saying? So
Kyle is Kyle, man.
He's always gonna be who he is, man. And you know
what it is.
Yeah, right before you jumped in, I was just gonna say, Jimmy got injured. We landed Purdy, and we loved what he did. So now here we are, in the present. And one thing is still the same. No clear-cut starter at the QB position. Kyle won't commit to anyone. He seems to love to be polyamorous. You could ask him who our starter is until you blue in the face, and he will give you a riddle of bullshit to throw you off before committing to the one position that should never have a question mark. I say all this to say Kyle has been somewhat successful not having a franchise QB over the years. Have we been able to retain talent by stringing along these QBs we currently have on small money deals? Yes. But, the one thing that's missing, we ain't got no damn Six Lombardi, damn it. I need him to deliver this year or he should be considered on the damn hot seat, period. Brian Hoyer, C.J. Beathard, Jimmy G, Nick Mullins, and Trey Lance and Josh Johnson, and Brock Purdy. From 2017 until now, those are the names we've had at QB. So what do we make of this? He's been here 6 years, no Super Bowl, three NFC championships, appearances, and one Super Bowl. Yet he's praised as if he's the best thing that ever happened to the Niners. I don't get it. You know that every year Kyle has been here, we've had over 1,000 yards rushing, but not 1,000-yard rusher. It's all been done by committee every year. Closest person was Elijah Mitchell in 2021 at 963 yards. Also, Kyle has been here and only had 2,000-yard receivers in a season. And I'm saying strictly receivers. We're not counting Kittle's back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons in 2018 and 2019. He is a tight end. In 2021, it was Debo with 1,405 yards. And just this past season, BA with 1,015 yards, which is crazy. So what we have learned is no one person is a star. Everything is by committee. But there is one position that should never be by committee, and that's quarterback. So it's simple. The truth for this year is what I've been saying all along. If Purdy is healthy and has no setbacks, he's the week one starter. If not, Lance will be the guy and get a shot to help us start off fast and not slow, and do one of two things: audition for other teams for the limited time that he plays, or steal his job back from Purdy and force Kyle to make a hard decision at the most important spot on the field, quarterback, something he hasn't done since he's been here.
No. He's Mr. Playboy. He's not committing. He straddles the fence. He's the kind of guy that introduces you to his mama, but he says, "This my friend, so and so." You know.
Yeah, you don't get a real title.
Yeah. Oh, you ain't get no title. No title. This ain't my girlfriend. This ain't my fiance. This ain't my wife. This is
my friend.
Yeah, this is my friend. She know her from around the way.
And then when they get outside, that they looking like, why am I just your friend? I wasn't just your friend last night, sir.
Yeah,
like these things are happening.
We've been living together 6 months. We went to the playoffs together. Remember? I'm paying your bill, Earl.
Right? Hello. Like there's and we like to joke about it in that way, because when you look at it, honestly, it is a relationship. It's a true relationship, because relationships are built in different ways, and Kyle's relationships are built on. I mean, if you're working at the moment, then cool. Ain't gonna bother me. The only thing Kyle actually picked that was consistent in his life was his wife. He ain't never left. He's never wavered. And his wife has attested to the fact that the man is wild with houses. He's really iffy about things. But at the end of the day, she still makes the final decision. So it's like when you look at Kyle, and I'm not saying that Kyle isn't a good head coach. He's good. He's not great. He's good. I can't give him great until I start seeing some Lombardi's get put into the case. And I was
going to reference that tweet that was put out,
that list,
ranking the coaches, and I think my man CJ Rufus, shout out to CJ. He was like, "Hey, they got Kyle down here. I think he was 8,
number 7. He's number 7.
Okay, I said, hey man." Lombardi's way heavy. All of those ones that were above him are carrying at least one Lombardi, including McVay. You got to put hardware on. Getting back to the relationship and marriage, it ain't real until you put that ring on. It ain't, it's we fiance, we married, we shacked up, we doing things that married people do. But until God ordains it and says you are one and you put that ring on, that's when it's official. That's when you can change your emergency contact. That's when you can really introduce somebody as, this is a bone of my bone, flesh is my flesh. Everything else don't count. So you got to get that chip. And that's how America is designed. We love winners. I know Jill Biden wanted to have like the losing team come and visit one time. No. We don't do that. This is America. Only the winners get the glory and the victor. No, we don't do the second place stuff. No. So, hey, it is what it is. That's the scale. That's the standard. And as Mike Tomlin would say, the standard is the standard.
Yeah, there is no way around that right there. And I'm trying to find that tweet because I think my man Platform 246 Lawrence, I think he put it out there. I'm trying to see if I can find it, but it's eluding me at this point. But basically, yes, everybody ahead of Kyle at that moment has literally won a Super Bowl, and those things matter. So I can tell you this: you can tell a player that wants to win the Super Bowl by what they do in their career.
Okay.
Julian Edelman, you know why he hung around with the Patriots his whole career? He knew he was going to get them Super Bowls. He knew it.
I'm getting this ring.
You know why Tom Brady is the most underpaid 7 Super Bowl ring wearing quarterback? He wanted to make sure he had a squad around him.
I know I'm a San Francisco 49er lover from way back. I'm older than a lot of you cats, man, but that daggone Tom Brady got that dog, and his commitment to the game and commitment to winning. If he played 21 years and he went to 10 Super Bowls. He went to 10. That means every other year, this cat was averaging going to a Super Bowl. Y'all can call him a cheater, and I don't like him, and Deflategate, and throw every dart at it. But somebody threw them 89,214 yards, them 649 touchdowns, them comebacks, them tweets in the middle of the night to everybody. Get it straight, get it right. We get ready to get them. We get ready to get them. And after Deflategate is when he went and won FOMO. So it just is what it is. I'm so sorry. I hate to break hearts, but the guy is the guy. And what my incredible co-host was referencing was the fact that this dude was committed to winning. He was taking haircuts, man. It would have been easy once you win that chip as a quarterback, dude. You can go in there demanding $40 million. Patrick Mahomes right now, it's a little bit on Patrick Mahomes. I hate to bring him up, but he could demand 40. He can demand 50 if he want. I ain't coming to practice unless y'all pony up $50 million per year. That's the going rate. That's what I want. But this man come in and say, hey, look, whatever we got to do to get that defensive end, whatever we got to do to bring Revis in, whatever we got to do to get who was that running back, that big running back, Corey Dillon, whatever we got to do to bring Moss in, whatever we got to do, get me some offensive linemen. I don't want to get hurt out here. Get me this, get me that. Man, hey, every head must bow, every tongue must confess for me. That's a part of it. It's just you understand your position, but at the same time, I don't want to handicap the team to a point where we can't get over the hump. And right now, everybody looks at us and goes, man, you guys are winning without a steady QB. But at the end of the day, we all would like to have a franchise guy. And that's why I said before you came on, there's not another team in the league that can go to the podium and tell you they don't know who their starting quarterback is.
Every other team has someone named as numero uno, and there is no competition. We literally, since Kyle Shanahan has been here, outside of him committing to Jimmy Garoppolo for 2021?
Yeah,
And I believe 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
Outside of those years, and he in 2018, you can't even count. Why? Because Jimmy didn't last not even but a game and a half.
He got hurt against
Kansas City because he thought he was a running back. And next thing you know, we're suffering through the season with Nick Mullins and C.J. Beathard. That 2020 season is one we all love to forget because that was just hell. I was injured and I wasn't even playing for the team.
Everybody, 2020.
It was just like, when
Nick Bosa tore his ACL, I was like, this may not go well.
Nick Bosa tore his ACL, and Solomon Thomas tore his ACL. Like it was a year that we all would like to forget. But there's just things that it's like when you look at it. Since he's been here, we've been injured more than we have been with any other head coach that we've ever had in our existence.
And the NFL Players Association ranked across the board, we were really, really solid with things like, talent, front office, and everything else. But these strength and conditioning, these health resources, y'all's rooms in here, this is horrible. We don't take care of injuries like it's supposed to. It usually takes a longer time, and when they're independent network, they're an independent studier and surveyor. So if they're coming at you saying y'all got some problems in here, man, this you don't have enough whirlpools, you don't have enough training tables, and your doctors aren't really the best. I think he went and got some hockey guys. And
I'm thinking to myself, these dudes are taking care of guys that are skating on the ice. Like what did they know about football? And it's no disrespect to them. I'm pretty sure they do great at what they do, but they do that for hockey. I'm not bringing in anybody that doesn't know anything about football. That's why you are here, because I have football players that have specific types of injuries, soft tissue, actual tear, whatever the case may be. I'm bringing in people who know these injuries, know how to fix them, and continue to move forward, because every player is consistently injured, even the healthy ones. There's always some kind of injury, some kind of nick, scratch. You're in pain after that game. I think
for the first training camp, you're at your absolute peak condition entering into training camp. These guys are going to be in the best shape of their lives of this year right now. After this, it's going to be an owie. It's going to be something. It just has to be. You pain through it. You tough. You build calluses, but you're not 100% for the entire rest of the season.
Yeah, there's no one that is.
You can count on 2 playoff games to add to that every year. So you got to be, mindful of the fact that you're going to play more than the average person in the NFL, And New Orleans Saints ain't got to worry about this. They ain't going to play out.
There's lots of teams that know
the
that.
Cardinals is like, I got this 17, man. So, I can go ahead and make my stuff to Cabo, whatever.
So speaking of the Cardinals really quick. So some random dude, I don't know who this is, decided to call himself some type of analyst or something on Twitter. And he puts out a tweet that says that the Seahawks are going to win the NFC West and that we are at the bottom. It's the Seahawks, the Rams, the Cardinals, and then the Niners. So I'm sitting here looking at that thing and I'm going, y'all had a good year. Y'all did. You had a good year. Geno showed up. Things look good. But you are smoking a whole lot of crack. Possibly crack laced with fentanyl, which seems to be probably a death of a drug, what that would seem like to me. And you really decided to, smoke that and then just put that tweet out as if you have no sense in your brain. Do you understand that the Cardinals have a brand new head coach who doesn't even have a starting QB? The Colts, they're starting with Colt McCoy. I mean, the Cardinals are starting Colt McCoy. Now, don't get me wrong. Last time we saw Colt McCoy, he handed our ass.
Colt did work. Colt did work.
Colt came in. Colt came in with 2 Colt 45s on his hips. And was just blasting at us all game long and took us down.
45, boy, it was like Billy D. Williams that night.
You know, he did. He came in with the Colt 45 like Billy D. Yes, he did. You know, and that was the thing. But to look at that list, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm not going to comment on this because it's not going to make no sense. Obviously, this guy doesn't have a brain in his head and he's delusional. But my thing is, at the end of the day, the NFC West literally should go like this. 49ers,
yes.
Seahawks,
yep.
Rams, Cardinals.
That's it.
And the Rams and the Cardinals could flip flop.
Rams and Cardinals, yeah.
You don't know. You just don't know. The reason being is because the Rams still have Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford.
Yes, you're 100%.
And those two Aaron Donald, together, and Aaron Donald on defense. Those three components are good. But the rest, I'm telling you right now, I don't know who the Rams running back is. I don't know what their offensive line look like. And outside of Cooper Kupp, I don't know who their receivers are. Mm-hmm. When you look on defense, the only person I do know is Aaron Donald. You know why? Jalen Ramsey gone. He done went back down to Florida. He in Miami. He chilling. He ain't worried about it.
Nice pickup for the Dolphins.
Right? No state taxes and whatnot.
Yeah. And if you think, Texas or Florida, you young man, make a business decision.
I'll tell you this. You think about it. Xavier Howard and Jalen Ramsey opposite each other, that is a viable threat to offenses.
What they say, strap.
You have a problem.
Put the strap on them.
Put the straps on them. Yeah. So when you look at that, it's like, okay. When you look at the Cardinals, Budda Baker don't want to be there.
Yeah, Budda's trying to go.
Yeah, Isaiah Simmons has been moved to safety. Like, there's things that are happening in that organization that say automatically, I don't know where we're going. And you know, when you get a new head coach, what does a new head coach always like? Their own guy.
He want his philosophy influenced on the regime. He don't want to. If he's going to go out on his sword, he's going to go down punching and swinging with his guys. You at least give me my guys, as Bill Parcells once said. Hey, you want a gourmet meal? At least let me buy the groceries. He don't want to move his stuff the way he want to move it, and I can't blame him, bro. You get there, hey, act a fool, be who you are.
And the thing is, your defense may improve, but you're married to Kyler Murray, and
how committed is Kyler?
You know, because you can't trade him. Ain't nobody taking that contract.
Incredible talent. I don't want to.
Not gonna say he's.
I love these NFL players. You know, I talked to some of them, texting them back and forth, man. This goes way back. So it's an incredible respect for all NFL players. You've arrived and you made it. But it's some guys I got to at least point out a deficiency. This guy ain't really known for the commitment and the study of the quarterback position like talking about. As in, case in point, putting it in his contract. Hey, you got to study,
Yeah, you have to really watch film and know what the defenders are doing. Yeah. We know you can't see over the offensive line to save your life, but when you're trying to look through those cracks and crevices, you still have to understand what the field looks like.
Know the concept, know these defenses and stuff.
Yeah, and that's the main issue with Kyler. Like I've been close enough to Kyler. I'm 5'6". You know what I'm saying?
You're taller than that, man.
No, man, I'm
5'6", brother. If you ain't 5'6",
look, man, look. All I got is the light skin. That's about as good as it gets around here, man. I don't play basketball. Never play. I play basketball as my cardio. That was my cardio workout. If I did play basketball, I'm great at passing the ball. I could pass that ball like John Stockton, but I'm not a shooter. I'll lay up, I'll cherry pick, but my defense is solid. You're not getting around me, you're not getting past me. You know what I'm saying? But that's just what I did when I played basketball. Now I ain't going out there now. I'm 42. These legs ain't moving like that. And these young cats out here is just going insane. I sometimes I just peek when I'm at the gym and looking at basketball. I'm like, ooh, nope. Don't want to go in there.
Young man, you balling out there. I ain't getting
Yeah. Hey man, we need another play. Nope, not me.
Y'all good. Y'all good.
I'm just here, shoot around. I ain't
riding the bike.
Yeah. So it's just certain things like when you look at it from the standpoint, and my biggest issue with Kyle is he hasn't gotten us over the hump, and there's so many people that continually give him a pass. You can't. The head coach has to take the brunt of all of the frustration of the franchise, of the media, of everybody. Why? Because you're the head coach. That's what you take on when you get there. Now, crazy thing is when Kyle walks to the podium, you can tell how he feels because his body language, his facial.
He's gonna tell you everything how he goes.
Like
if
he's not answering
questions today, you know it instantly. What?
And I've told people a million times, and I keep saying this, and I'll stick to it. And I don't know why everybody keeps like the video that was put out the other day that sent Twitter into a rage of how he was, not definitive on the court. I'm like, this is who Kyle is. This ain't nothing new. I'm not going to trip off that video. I already know how that works. That man speaks in riddles and will have you, if you're not smart enough and you haven't watched him and understood him over the years, you would be more confused with your life by the end of a conversation with him than you would be about anything else.
Bro, I call him Kylie Coyote. You remember Wile Coyote with the runner?
Yes, sir.
Kylie Coyote. I have to literally go off of his actions and what he does, how he calls the plays, how comfortable he feels. I watch him on the field. I watch for his expressions and his play calls on the field. And every indication I have from Kyle, whether he has expressed it verbally or not, is the fact that he trusts Brock Purdy.
That he does.
Trusts to give his best of game plans to him. He trusts him more than he ever did Jimmy G, because even with Jimmy G's best run, which was our Super Bowl run, he didn't throw the ball in the playoffs.
No.
But 27 times, 19 against Minnesota and 8 against Green Bay, or I think I'm flip-flopping them. They were a total of 27 passes in the postseason for James Garoppolo. The first game with Brock Purdy, he had 30, which supplanted and surpassed that of what Jimmy G ever did with his entirety of the Super Bowl run. That's how I knew this dude got the acme.
He got that was perfect. That was a good way of Emiliano. That was a good one, Emiliano. Hey, TARRERDOME laid it up and you dunked that joint, man. He put that up there, man. He alley-ooped you and you came down with the hammer. It was right there. But
and you just got to go with what he does, man, who he commits to. And I just look at the offense and look at the production of the offense and the level and quality of people we beat last season in different stages. That was a Tampa Bay Buccaneer defense that we beat. That was a Washington Commander defensive line and doing different exchanges that we beat. And the Miami Dolphins were very, very hot. They were a playoff team as well. And then we go to the playoffs and I see more of the same against Seattle. The Cowboys were a tough run. And I as I'm getting more information, it hit me that the Cowboys defensive coordinator was Dan Quinn.
Yeah, and he knows Kyle.
He knows
him like the back of his hand.
More than anything else. So they were closing off our deep overs how we normally do, and they had the personnel to do this. People are poo-pooing the Dallas Cowboys, but that was a very good defense and a decent team. They are a really decent team, man. Dak Prescott makes his $45 million a year. Pollard went down. And that daggone Michael Parsons, you see what he did to McGlinchey, man.
Hey, look, man, boy. I mean, it was McGlinchey versus Parsons. He ain't ready for that. And I'll tell you right now, The pass rushers in the AFC West are licking their chops.
Oh yeah,
at Denver Broncos and that right tackle.
Y'all are gonna see
they
the
are
real
looking
McGinty
they,
out
they
here.
are looking and they. I'm just, Joey.
What
Joe, I'm gonna tell you right now. Joey probably called
Nick. Let me.
You see, we
you hit my bell.
You see, that? He called Nick and said, "Hey man, bro, y'all really sent this dude up here. Look, man, tell me everything."
He said, "Dude,
I want to know it all.
You don't get 6 sacks on here. You owe me a case of beer."
Right?
You owe me a case of beer.
Like,
dude, if you can't get past this dude, you're I'm the best. Mom always liked me more anyway.
Because if you think, put it like this, if you think, when I think of Joey and Nick, I think of Eli and Peyton.
Yes,
because both were great at their positions to an extent. Now, Eli was a shit regular season quarterback, horrible, really bad. But when he got to the playoffs, he made it count, and he beat the man twice.
He beat us twice. That's what really impressed me. That's what hurt. I never talked junk about Eli Manning because he took our candy. This is the Harbaugh days, fellas.
Going back, he took our candy, took our lunch money, everything.
We threw the kitchen sink at him. Patrick Willis, Alden Smith, man, we were hitting him, and he just kept on just wiping his little chin and getting back up. And that's what, again, don't poo-poo our efforts in the playoffs. That's what playoff football is. It's a war of attrition, and you minimize mistakes. That's why I'm really crazy about Brock, because it's going to be those days. Just please minimize the mistakes. I wish I would have had that same talk with Kyle Williams, because that's what playoff football do. It's not going to be these blowout scores and everybody. They ran for 41 points and 365 yards. No, dude, minimize your mistakes, and let's get through this one. Play some D. You might block a kicker. The special teams will come into play in playoff football. The weather comes into play in playoff football.
And with you saying exactly what you're saying right now, what does that go back to? Green Bay.
Exactly. I was there in the weather. 100. My wife and I went up to Green Bay, Wisconsin. Let me tell y'all how cold it was that day. Let me give y'all this. We had huddled up, man. In Green Bay, shout out to Green Bay and all their people, man. They some wonderful, wonderful people up there. They come from old money like us. They champions and know how to act. They were real gracious. But we were sitting around in somebody's yard, because you can park for like $20 right around the stadium. And man, the dudes were sitting around drinking a couple cold ones and stuff like that, man. He said, "Yeah, man, we're gonna do this." Nick Bosa and dude said, "Hey, man, my beer froze. I gotta go."
You can't even keep the beers on ice. You gotta put them in heat.
As he was talking pregame. That's how cold it was that day, man. And to a man, hey, we showed up. Our special team showed up. It was number 75. I think, what's his name? Willis, who blocked the kid.
Yeah, Jordan Willis.
Jordan Willis. And Huff picked that up. Cover. Man, that's what playoff football is. And
I know that cold in Wisconsin because my uncle was a Coast Guard vet, and he was stationed up there. And I went to go and visit him. And we were in Marinette, Wisconsin, really small town. But I tell you this, it was the first time and the last time I ever experienced snow in my life. I opened the door, TARRERDOME, when I tell you I had to dig my way out.
Bruh.
Like, I'm talking shoveling snow, like seeing the people driving the big snowmobile down the street. Like, it's crazy. Like, it gets, and I'm talking ice cold, like everything freezes. So the temperatures there are brutal. And unless you get used to them, you won't know. It's just like living here in Arizona. You don't get used to this heat.
My goodness. I seen the temperature gauge for y'all. Are y'all like 21 days straight over 110 or something?
Oh yeah.
The bottle was
our weather will not go down until probably mid-September, early October. We will be hot like that continually. And believe you me, it is not the funnest thing. But when it comes down to it for me, and I'm looking at everything, you know, and I look at Kyle. I need Kyle to go hang out with Bill. He need to hang out with Belichick. Hang out with him.
Or Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
You know where Mike Tomlin stands and Bill Belichick. That's why they were one. I think they were 1 and 2 on the list, man. And Andy Reid's up there too. It is no mistaking when Mike Tomlin look at you with them Newport News, Virginia eyes and say, yeah, we're going with Pickett, and that's who we going with. And
that's it.
That's what it is. Any other questions? No? Okay, we'll move on right now because the standard is the standard. Man,
and he controls, and the beauty is he controls that room. See, Kyle likes to watch the chaos. It's funny to him. I guarantee you, when he gets off that podium and leaves that room, he probably goes somewhere and falls out laughing till the stomach hurts and he's crying tears. The reason being is because he never, ever gives you a straight answer, period. You could ask Kyle something so simple as, hey, man, how many touches did you give Elijah and why did you do that? I have to look at the tape and tell you how many touches Elijah have? I don't really know, but, we gave him this. And, he just starts talking, and then you just get lost in the sauce. And because I watched him over the years, it's very simple for me. I need you to get that dog in you that Belichick has in him for championships. You need to want, and I've said this before on my channel many times, when you're a head coach and you're in pro sports, you have to have that killer in you. You have to want to watch the life flow from someone's eyes as you put your foot on their neck, proverbially, obviously, not literal, but you have to put your foot on their neck and watch the life flow from their eyes and see that they can't breathe. Yeah. I don't care if I'm up 50-0. I want to score again. You know why? When I was a kid growing up in LA, there was one team. They used the Patriots logo, but there was one team that they were just crazy at football, man. It's Pop Warner team. Every single year they won. I mean, they were like the Patriots of Pop Warner. Man. I swear to you, they were kicking ass, and they were called the Demos.
Oh, wow.
Demos were ballers, and it wasn't there was never a position they didn't have a star. And I remember one year, because I ran track when I was a kid. I ran track with a buddy of mine named Major Cobbs. Shout out my homeboy. I ain't talked to him in years. I don't know where he's at, but I hope he's doing great.
Shout out Major.
Major was a ridiculous running back. I'm talking the speed and the size. He was bigger than most kids. And when he ran with conviction. And he knew when to lay the hammer down, but he also knew when to get out of bounds.
Oh, my.
So you could combine him. You could call him CJ2K and Adrian Peterson. If they had a baby, it was Major. The reason being is because he'll hit you and knock you down. But at the same time, his father understood. Every now and then, you got to make a business decision. If I know I'm not about to get no yards out of this, why am I trying to hit you? For what? I don't need that extra pain on my body. Forget it. I'm going to go out of bounds. When people malign Chris Johnson for the way he played football, he laughed. And when he got interviewed about it, he said, I was prolonging my career.
Yes.
And you know who he heard that from? None other than the great Jerry Rice. Jerry told him.
Franco Harris. Franco Harris did the same thing, man.
What?
What
Why?
are you doing? No.
If I'm running into you and you ain't standing between me and that actual goal line, why am I running into you? Why would I need to do that? If I know there are no more yards to be had, if I know I don't really have a way to cut back and break your ankles, why on earth am I looking to be hit and be hurt more than I'm already hurt. I only don't feel the pain because the adrenaline is flowing.
Totally get it. Totally get it. Especially if you're a speed guy, which Chris Johnson, I think Chris had a 4.21.
Bro, let me tell you this. There are three players that I know of since I've been watching football that I think probably are a lot faster than their 40 times that were given. That is Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders, and Chris Johnson. I believe those dudes could probably run a full flat in their primes.
3. Yeah, man.
Those dudes, because Bo literally Bo was big all around from head to toe. But you know how everybody talks about Saquon Barkley and his thighs? Y'all ain't seen shit till you seen Bo.
Bo was, man.
And I'll hit with a hard pause on that one.
Hall of Famers that no pause. Man, Howie Long was on with his son Chris on their podcast, man. And they were talking about, hey, when guys say, yeah, I'm that dude. Mm-hmm. And he said, hey, Dad, who was that dude when you were playing? Mm-hmm. He said, oh, he didn't have to say it. Bo Jackson was the dude. He said he walked in the locker. Think about it, man. You just hit a home run last week against the New York Yankees, and you just walk into our locker room in week 8, and now you're running touchdowns and running over Brian Bosworth. He said it was something you can't even believe. And these are the best in the world. 8 billion people in the world, and these 1,800 guys are the best of the best, the most athletic. He said when Bo Jackson walked through that locker room, you didn't have to say that's that dude.
You knew it.
Everybody knew it. It was
Bo was just
they were on the sidelines in Seattle, and when he turned up and went up those sidelines, they said, even the opposite player said it was a whoosh.
Yeah, like you literally felt the wind
with this dude. Mm-hmm. It simply won't nothing like it. And respect to Deion, respect to some of the all-time greats. Respect
like Deion, and the funny thing is, Deion literally gave it up to Devin Hester. He said, if I would have ran the way that he runs, I probably would have been faster than I already was.
Yeah, man.
He said because Hester had perfect form.
Yeah,
that's why he was able to get there. And a lot of people don't understand about running is when your form is shit, it slows you down. It really does. If you are fighting the wind and you are running and your arms are doing this, you are not running properly.
People can't imagine.
Like there's things in sports that you just don't learn.
These guys are.
And but those I'm telling you, and the shiftiest dude and my favorite running back of all time was Barry Sanders.
Oh, bro.
Barry. I remember, who was it? He used to be on NFL Network. He was offensive or defensive lineman. He loved the Cowboys. I can't remember. Jamie something.
Jamie Dukes.
Yes. He literally said in like the little, I think they did the little football life for Barry Sanders. He said the one thing you didn't want to have Barry do was make you do the Lord's Prayer. And he said the Lord's Prayer was this, because when you rapped and clapped, you didn't see he was gone already.
You could miss Barry in a phone.
You could miss Barry would be literally gone. And it like when I watched him play and I saw the things that he did, it just baffled me. Like, how are you able to pull this off?
Generation.
Like, it just never made any sense. And for me, the other thing that I was looking at, Kyle ain't never had 1,000-yard rusher.
No, he would do it by committee.
Now,
I have to give him credit.
Yeah,
because Kyle is doing something now, man. I'm a defensive guy, defense by nature. Played it in college, coached it, and everything. There are rules as a linebacker you're supposed to do. You run with the flow, and you look for the pulling guard. The pulling guard. You read through guard to fullback to running back, and it will take you to the. This is what you're taught.
Take you to the promised land.
This dude is switching the game up so much because he's using our rules and our instinctive eyes
against us.
It's like painting a stop sign green. You know what I mean? It just it makes you hesitant for that split second, and you're not seeing what you're supposed to see. And he's moving fullbacks who usually run, this way together in concert with a running back. He'll peel that fullback around and come this way while he's pulling Kittle and folding a guard. The design.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Now, yeah, and that's the thing. I'm not people when I talk about. I'm not taking anything away from his football knowledge. I'm just stating you got to give us more. You got to get to that mountaintop, and you need to be able to get there, plant your flag, and no one else can come up there and take it from you.
That's it.
Because once you get that ring, that's all you really need. Why do you think Aaron Donald said he would retire? He possibly would retire. You know why? Because he's a freak of nature. He's one of one. You don't see guys like Aaron Donald coming out every year. You really don't. And I'll give him that much credit, even though every time he meets Daniel Brunskill, he gets sunned really quick. As they say on the East Coast, you get sunned. You know what I'm saying?
We figured it out. We got the code on
Aaron. Brunskill can look at him and go, I mean, you don't look like shit to me.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of other players in the league, offensive linemen, that cannot say that. Daniel Brunskill can hang his hat on the fact that he shuts down Aaron Donald, one of the most dominant defensive linemen we've seen in recent years.
And it goes to the point too, Dion, that his instincts as a defensive lineman are hampered because of the design of Kyle. Sometimes he's would normally work with 31 other teams.
Oh yeah, it ain't gonna work here,
dude. Do that, and our offensive lineman. I talked to Spencer Burford on East Coast. East Coast Red and Gold. Your instincts to flow with this carries you out of a play now.
Yep,
and we're able to, man.
You gotta think about it.
Hard on a good lineman. It is hard on them. When it's supposed to come right here. That's what you do. The fullbacks come in here. It's supposed to be here. And you done switch that thing, and then you got 2 or 3 derivatives out of that. It's pretty challenging. When I saw Luke Kuechly, I'm gonna tell you when I went to the Super Bowl when we were in 2019. I'm gonna tell you when we booked our hotels. We played a Monday night football game against the Cleveland Browns, and Cleveland had a very good team. They had Odell Beckham at the time. Yeah. They had Jarvis Landry. They had a very solid defense. And when I seen Juszczyk line in an off, it was what we call blue. Blue is offset. Green is straight eye. But when he peeled back around and went to there and I think it was definitely James Garoppolo who counter turned and gave it to Mostert and bust up that hole for about 65, 70 yards. I was on the phone with my cousin who coaches in Virginia. I said, Mikey, I promise y'all, man. I called Mike. I said, Mikey, am I seeing what I'm seeing? And am I is this legit? He said he that ain't, you ain't supposed to do that. That ain't.
Yes, that's what we have.
Yeah, you seeing what you seeing. We booked the tickets that night. I think it was week 10 or something like that. I think we were undefeated and it was week 8.
Yeah, we did. I think we went 8-0 or 9-0.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. In that 2019 season. And yes, it's the designs, because I mean, well, Debo said it best. Literally, you have like 10 different ways to run one play.
That's what it was.
That's why, and that was the excuse that everybody used. Yeah, that was the excuse that everybody used when they were talking about Jesse, speaking about Trent tipping plays and whatnot, which I said it earlier, on my podcast. Jesse is a great man, great father, great husband to his wife and his family. He's a great human being. And what he did was simply point out a fact, and no one can take that away from him. It was true, whether it really was
correct.
Yeah, whether it was
if you notice the smallest idiosyncrasy, man. Go back and YouTube Ray Lewis and my man, God rest his soul, Bunchy, who was my mentor coming into high school. Man, I got a whole funny story about Bunchy Wilkins. It was like the wood. I was dating a girl. He was like 3 years older than me, and he was gonna beat me up. Yeah. I was in middle school. I said, "Oh yeah," and I get to high school as a freshman. And they said, go down there with the linebackers. Guess who's the best linebacker in the state? Bunchy Wilkins. And dude, I'll tell y'all the whole story, but it is very, very funny. But getting back to Kyle, man, as a linebacker, you're looking one way. You're looking for these things. And Trent Williams was saying against anybody else in the world, that is a major tip. That once we get that, Ray Lewis and everybody would say, we either say bird, which means they're throwing it, or rabbit. It's a run. It's a run. But with this dude, man, he might be doing it just to make you say the wrong thing, and then the play fake might come, and then you're confused.
You don't even know what's going on.
Oh man, you out here guessing, and sometimes you're gonna get lucky. Sometimes you're gonna make a play, but if you out here guessing, and the spotters in the eye in the sky don't lie, see you doing it. Oh yeah, you gonna get cooked one of these days.
Oh yes. And that's the beauty of what he does, is he finds a way to be able to make the defense work against themselves. So while you think that you are supposed to be doing certain things, all of the fundamentals in the game plan that you taught, when you come up against someone who has that type of mind like Kyle Shanahan, you almost want to throw all that stuff out the window. Why? Because there is nothing that anybody can really do. But in the same vein, it's like, unfortunately, there's a little small dark cloud running around Kyle.
Yeah.
Because QBs keep getting injured, not able to get over the hump. Like, something's not right. And I don't know what that is. I don't know what, Kyle, you need to pray about it. I got the bishop right here. Come on the show. We will definitely we will give you the strongest prayer. Heck, I will even channel my inner DMX and give you a good prayer.
I pray for that health, man. Health and safety.
We just want our team to be healthy. And what do we get? Darrell Luter Jr. on the pup list already.
What was that? What is that about? What, did he get hurt doing something? Or
I have not the faintest idea. I just know that I saw that I didn't really read the article. I just saw that he was going to start on the pup list. Now, don't get me wrong. Darrell Luter Jr. was, being talked about very well by Steve Wilkes, and we heard some good things about him in OTAs. Yeah. But my guy that I want is Sam Womack. I want him.
Go ahead, sing your song. Go ahead.
I'm telling you, listen to me, boy. They don't know about that.
Go hit it. I want it. People want it. Put it in the chat. Tell them to hit it.
If you think you're lonely now, wait until Womack intercepts you. Like I'm telling you, you have to people don't know. Like there's two players that I'm looking at to make a big impact, and I hope that they get the proper opportunity. Womack and Drake. And the reason being is because I know what Womack he has it. He's got that it factor.
Playmaker.
Wilkes just needs to walk over and do whatever he does, and it's going to blossom on the field, and it's going to scare defenses. You know why? Because you know what a quarterback hates the most? A ball hawk. You know who they like? You know who quarterbacks like? Darrelle Revis. You know why they like Darrelle Revis? He's going to knock the ball down. He will have 1 billion passes defensed. but he's not intercepting the ball.
Oh my. Boy, shout out to Richard Sherman. I'm sure he wanted to hear that.
And I know Uncle Sherm, when they had that debate about him and Revis, Sherm was on First Take and he ripped Skip Bayless to shreds. He murdered Skip. Like Skip had no hope. He destroyed it. He bodied that man easily. For me, I was very happy about that because, there's things, and just to touch on Skip for just a hot second.
Go ahead.
Like I said earlier, if you don't watch It Is What It Is, you're missing some real good barbershop talk. Cam and Mace put this out there, and I loved it because it was real. This is the truth of it.
Go ahead.
Shannon would do certain things, and you would see Skip take shots at him, consistent, poke the bear as much as he could, talk crap about his career, everything, all kinds of things. But he wanted him to do ignorant shit. He thrived on it. And he would purposely put these moments out there for Shannon to fall flat on his face. And it was like, I can say that I love, I like everybody. But you wanted him to do some ignorant stuff to continue to keep your ratings high because you by yourself are no one. Now, it is being said, and this has been confirmed by the man himself, that you may see Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharpe on First Take.
Oh, my.
I would love that. And you know why? Number one, Shannon, you ain't got to take that disrespect, homie. You were 2-time Super Bowl champ. You was one of the baddest tight ends in the league. Nobody wanted to mess with you. And your brother Sterling wasn't no joke either.
Sterling was the man. Let me stop right there. Hey, man, they had a Jefferson Pilot commercial, which is a insurance company that was down here when I was in school, man.
Yeah.
And, man, when the South Carolina boys saw Sterling Sharpe on there, catch that thing and juke people, man. Sterling Sharpe was so sweet. Sterling Sharpe was running neck and neck with Jerry Rice. In the early 90s. That's how good Sterling Sharpe was.
Very good.
Please believe Sterling Sharpe was really, really good. Y'all,
it was not a game.
Boy, he was thicker. He was kind of the predecessor for Debo, but he would go deep. He was fearless across the middle, and he had some shake and wiggle, and he was a physical dude, man. He's shorter than Shannon. Because Shannon
got all the height and the size.
Yeah, Shannon got the height
but Sterling had that. Oh man, he had some giddy up in it too. He was quick. You better be careful. But seeing those two, if I could get Stephen A. and a Shannon on a consistent basis, that works for me. Don't get me wrong. I like Big Perk. I don't mind when other people come on the show. Mad Dog Russo, I'm 50-50 on him because he be getting a little disrespectful. But I mean, it's just weird. He's like the way he talks, he's a true New Yorker. He's always screaming shit.
Yeah.
Like he can't ever be on a regular level. He's always got to be. He can't be right
doing that since the 80s.
Screaming and hollering. And I remember the funniest thing for me when I watch these shows is I would tell you this, and this came from the Boondocks. Nigga moments happen on TV. If you do not believe me, you don't pay attention to television. They happen on television. Let me run a couple by you. Chris Broussard literally said the word on national television and kept going, and they didn't even cut it out.
No, Chris.
Typically, they try to edit it, but Chris had a barbershop moment. I forget what they was talking about.
Chris,
literally, Chris did this. This nigga. And kept going. I'm like,
it must have been somebody did something real bad for Chris.
And it's
Ninja.
And I'm gonna tell you, the moment happened for Ryan Clark with Mad Dog Russo. They were talking football, and he kept screaming. And Ryan Clark literally sat back in his chair. He said, "Hey, look, dog, that's gonna be the last time you raise your voice at me." And nobody, not a soul, caught it. And I'm looking like, Y'all didn't catch. He switched up. He's like, look, man, I'm gonna need you to bring your damn tone down talking to me. You want to have some respect around here? You gonna have to give it. Yeah, I don't care who you are. You gonna bring it? What?
I love Ryan Clark. It's two brothers I love, and I wrote a book called "Get This in Your Spirit." It's available on Amazon. Ryan Clark and Jalen Rose. I absolutely love the man. They are. I usually go when I want to feel real on network television.
Oh yeah, yeah. You
usually looking at them. Those two brothers really give it to me the uncut raw. They played the game.
Oh, Jalen's another dude who ate Skip Bayless alive.
Jalen bodied him.
He bodied him. Skip got bodied by Jalen, Sherm, and T.O. T.O. murdered him on several occasions.
T.O. got Skip. And then he came back and got Stephen A. one day.
Yeah, but see, the thing with T.O. was he didn't when he went at Stephen A. he didn't think that through, and you got to be real mindful of what you're saying. Don't be caught up in the moment. You still got to think before you
came back with some of the ultimate insults.
It just came out, and it was like I'm even looking at it like, oh. If I'm his publicist, I'm pulling him to the side going, sir, I'm gonna need you to apologize publicly to Stephen A. I need you to do that like right now. I don't need you to wait on it. I don't need you to give me any pushback. I need you to do this ASAP, do this today, because you can't, there's things that you can't, there's things you can say in private that you just can't do.
Yeah, don't go there. Don't go there, man.
And the number one thing for us as Black folks is to make sure that we don't shoot on ourselves and allow other people to be able to go, well, you do it, why can't we? Because there are things in different communities that are said about themselves that they can say that we can't. And it's the same thing for everywhere else. You know what I'm saying? There's words, phrases, things that are said that are used, but only those people use them. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm not going into another person's community and trying to use their lingo and their slang.
Yeah, man.
I'm not from there, because you have to be really careful with that. That can get you into a bad situation. You must be smart and mindful. It's always the process of thinking before you speak.
Yeah, man. Always. Yeah, if you got that gift of gab, that's you need to be it's like a chess game. You need to see two moves ahead. Exactly. Before you make one, and when you mess that up, man, it's a hard road to go back. But T.O. never really had that. T.O.
He hasn't.
He has no filter, and he came up and he went through so much, man. His dad was right across the street from him coming up.
That right there, that broke my heart when I heard that. How do you live across the street from your child and you don't walk across this is your mama's house, man? How you just act like you don't even know this dude exists? That hurt me too.
I minister to men, man, and one of the biggest issue, and it's affecting women as well in relationships. Man, that absence of a father just really can leave a hole in the soul of someone. But you have a father that's in heaven. So if anybody within the sound of my voice, anybody seeing this right now, know that your ultimate father is in heaven and he cares for you. But it's not gonna, delay or somehow quash the hurt. I've told the embarrassment that you feel as a man. I've had captains of industry. I've had professional athletes. I've had people involved in politics and stuff like that. I prayed for, man, and man, that hurt of your dad hasn't been there in your life, won't be there in your life. It can affect a man all the way into his brain.
I will openly say this, because anybody who watches my channel knows how real I am. You know what I'm saying? And you told me how my guys at Real Talk 9 and Talk love me, and I love them back. And they love me because they know I keep it a buck. I can tell you this. When I was little, my dad wasn't around.
Amen.
I saw him Christmas and my birthday. And that was when I saw him. And after a while, I started getting used to it. I started to just deal with it. Now, there would be moments. It would hurt. and I wouldn't want to show nobody my pain. Why? Because I had to deal with that on my own.
Am I frozen or you?
I couldn't tell my mother. Right. Oh, are you frozen? Good.
Did I freeze?
No, you good. You were okay.
Okay. Yeah, you froze on me a little bit.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know what that is? The devil.
Yeah.
You get ready to get real. You get ready to give a testimony. And I know it's you. You're all about distraction, and you're all about doubt, and you're all about all of this, devil. But I will have my way. I am undefeated. I represent the Most High God. Continue what you were saying, young man.
Yeah.
Amen.
So basically, there would just be moments where it would hurt, and I would know. They'd have things where it was like a father and son thing. I had to take my uncle. You know what I'm saying? There were times where I didn't have anybody.
Amen.
I spent my 6th grade graduation, my whole 6th grade graduation, looking over my shoulder because he promised me he was going to come. And he didn't show up. But you know who was there? My grandfather.
Amen.
He was there. And he knew. And the thing is, so on my mom's side of my family, her father and his mother, I was very close with them. And when my grandfather was there, he knew what was going on. He knew why I kept looking over my shoulder and why I couldn't pay attention. At our graduation, we actually sung. They had made us sing as a class, and no, we did not rehearse this. And I know 90% of us could not sing to save our lives. They made us sing "End of the Road" by Boy Smith.
Whoa!
So it was cool, but it was like, what the heck? We don't know how to sing. It came up. It didn't sound too bad.
Who's singing bass? Who's singing bass?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You got to get that deep voice.
Yeah, so, girl, you know it.
Right? So there would be moments in my life where it would hurt. I remember I was watching Fresh Prince.
The greatest episode ever.
One of the best episodes ever.
This the one that made me know that Will Smith has got the chops.
Yes.
He's got the real chops.
And he said that they had to do that scene several times because James Avery kept getting in him and he kept telling him, give me more.
Yeah.
No, this is not like, he's like, I need you to feel this. I need you to believe it. And sure, when he did it, when he hugged him in that moment, he said, James Avery whispered in his ear,
there it is.
That's
acting. Yes.
And it would be those moments I would see on television, and it wasn't until I was about 8 or 9 and my stepdad came around, God rest his soul. And I remember when I watched Black Panther, the first one.
Oh, man.
And
Chadwick Boseman, God rest.
It tore me to shreds when he went to the ancestral plane and was able to see his father. I broke down because I'm like, if I could just give me just that, that's all I need.
Yes.
Give it to me, please.
Yeah.
But I know as a man, that's going to affect me for the rest of my life.
No doubt.
But I know how to keep a handle on it. And I know when those moments come. And I know when it's time for me to be able to relax. My wife is very well aware of them. She supports me in any and every second. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, those are the things that you have to think about when it comes to life in general.
Yes, sir.
You have to be understanding of those moments because you don't know what could be going on with any human being.
It's compassion.
It's compassion.
That the world lacks is compassion and empathy. And for whatever reason, God has graced me with that because my dad was the most incredible dad ever. He was just that dude, man. To see me is to see my dad. People say I'm working on a word. The next word that comes out, y'all see me preaching, it'll be you just like your daddy. But here's the thing, man. His dad, it was very similar to T.O.
Yeah.
He thought that one guy was his because he's got siblings and all of them are of this man. And then the funeral happens when my dad's 43 years old and he doesn't learn of things until the obituary in the paper and his name is inexplicably left off.
Yeah. And see that's that brings that's the confusion that you never want, because it throws a lot of things off. It puts you into a tailspin of not understanding why this happened or what went on. And see, for me, when I grew up, I was fortunate because I had men in my life that were smart and that would steer me away from the negative things. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody does things. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest with you, the thing that I learned that was negative was just being in the streets chasing women. That's what I learned that was negative. I mean, everybody, like all dudes go through that. Like that, it's almost a rite of passage. Like literally the small amount of times that I would spend around my own father, you know what I'm saying? The first thing that everybody would look and go, hey man, he looked just like you, you know, and then they come to me and the first thing they was asked is, D man, how many girls you got? Like,
yeah, I'm the girl.
Don't even get me started, man. I'm trying to figure out who to talk to. Like those were the things that I was taught. And of course, you know, you go through life and you don't know in that individual moment that these things are not things that you should be doing, that you should be a better person. But you just you grow, you live your life, you grow. Your story is pre-written. God only knows what will happen next, and you do whatever you can. So when it comes down to Kyle, we know your story is written, but at this point, we asking you to grab hold of the reins and stop letting this horse run off.
You gotta walk.
It's okay, because right now what you're doing, Kyle, is you holding on for your life. That horse is not broken. And if anybody who's ever been around a farm, you understand what that term means.
Oh yeah. You get a wild one. Just watch Yellowstone.
Yeah, they have to be broken. Yeah, and I only literally knew that because my aunt has a farm, and that's how, you know, that was how she decided to live her life. It was cool. And I never knew that until I went to her farm and hung out with my cousins. You know, I'm picking up bales of hay and I'm looking like, y'all do this every day? Good Lord, I can't do this. I'm a city boy. I don't know about this. And those I literally
chores. Those are chores.
And they had a horse who was in the process of being broken.
Okay.
And I didn't know that. And they said, you ever been on a horse? I said, no. So they said, hey, we'll teach you. So I get on the horse and I'm like, okay. I don't know.
Get on that one that haven't been broken yet.
It wasn't fully broken and I didn't know this.
Oh, Lord.
I'm a kid. I don't understand this. So what happens is I don't know certain noises you make, certain ways you move will make the horse take off. Spooky. I'm not aware of this. I've only watched Westerns and I hated Westerns, but I had to watch them because my grandfather would watch them and it just would drive me insane.
My dad too. Gunsmoke.
So I literally was on a horse and I sneezed. And I did that accidentally. That was the signal to the horse. Let's go. Oh my God. I sat there. I grabbed those reins as tight as I could. I leaned forward and prayed for dear life. That horse took it, scared the living crap out of me. I thought I was going to die. I was 100% sure I was going home with something broken. And her husband walked up and stood in front of the horse and put his hand up and said, whoa. And the horse just stopped. And I was like, that's control. But you know what I'm going to do?